Hello. My name is Joe, and I have a new life in Christ. Nice to meet you all. Um, I want to say that I have struggled with drug addiction, self-worth, and people-pleasing. It's kind of convenient. I guess it just works in that step 6 that he spoke about was probably the step that I struggled with the most. If somebody had told me that 10 years ago drugs would destroy my family, ruin my marriage of over 15 years, I would have said they were crazy. I had what I considered the fairy tale. I had a wonderful husband, 4 amazing kids. I was a sign language interpreter for the deaf community in Kansas City, and my family was very active in church. I literally never thought that this could happen to me. I guess you could say it started with 4 knee surgeries and the many, many refills of pain pills. In the middle of that, my then husband got orders with the Army, and the 4 kiddos and us, we moved to Fort Leonard Wood, which is about 3 hours from here. There wasn't a deaf community down there, so I stayed home, took care of the kids, eventually started babysitting. I miss my parents, my brother, my friends, my church. It was hard being there alone without them. With that being said, it didn't take long before the refills stopped, and then I hopped from hospital to hospital trying to get pain pills. It didn't matter what excuse I had, or I would fake what I needed to fake to try to get these pills. And it's sad to say, and I hate even admitting it, but there's probably not one hospital or urgent care within a 100-mile radius that I did not visit. Then one day, I made probably the biggest mistake that just changed my life forever. I was with a lady who happened to be a parent of a football player who was on my son's football team. And we were at a party. I was up in her room with her, and she was crushing up a pill. And I'm like, what in the world are you doing? And she's like, I'm crushing up my pain pill, and I'm going to snort it. And I'm like, why on earth would you do that? It never crossed my mind that that was even possible. And so she asked me if I wanted to try. And seemingly how I'm standing here right now, you probably know what I did. And that day I fell down the rabbit hole. Now let me say one thing. Up until the pain pills, I had tried marijuana one time in high school, and that was it. So this was just something new and exciting, and ended up being very dangerous. But I started hanging out with the wrong people. They introduced me, offered me new things, and I tried everything, anything, everything. It got to the point where I was sneaking out after my kids and my husband would go to sleep, and I would sneak back in before they'd wake up. In a matter of months, I was addicted to meth, heroin, and lastly, fentanyl. I've OD'd once, probably close to it several other times. I made the most awful excuses for why I needed it, why I was doing it. And I had a relationship with God growing up, but I just decided to choose my own path instead of his. And literally none of this happened until I turned 40. Up until then, it was nothing. In the end, my husband divorced me. The relationships with my children and my family were destroyed. I've lived places, seen and experienced things that I'm so ashamed of. My decision that drugs were more important to me than my family resulted in my home being raided by the county sheriff's department. I've been arrested twice, had 3 felony charges, and spent 11 months in county jail, all in the last 10 years. I felt like I had no one. I was so alone, and I'll be honest, jail was the scariest place on earth. I never felt so alone, but while I was there, in a sense, it saved my life. I found Christ again. I kind of felt like he was, smacking me up side the head, saying, "Girl, are you done now? Let's get off on your own path because you see where that's going to go." And I knew at that point, if I didn't change, I was either going to die, stay in jail, and I didn't want either of those things. I was released in December of 2023. My parents agreed to let me move home to continue my recovery there. It meant the world to me that my mother, in particular, still had faith in me. My dad got me a job at Shelter Insurance as the office manager, where I still work today. My parents introduced me to Abundant Life, where they had been attending for a while, and I visited the Crossroads campus, and I immediately fell in love and knew that that was where I needed to be. I had wanted to find a 12-step program to kind of stay on my path of recovery, and one Sunday, Pastor Phil had mentioned Regen, and I'll be honest, when I showed up, I was so nervous, just like today. I didn't really want to tell everyone what I had done, and I was ashamed of so many things that I had done and the choices that I made, and I just feel like I had let everybody down, and to share that with strangers was scary. But little did I know that Regen, the group of ladies that I was with, changed my life in the best way. I was able to finally be open and honest about what I'd done, what I'd learned from it, and how to use those mistakes to better myself and hopefully one day help somebody else. And I realized while in Regen that the one person that I needed to forgive was myself. That was the weight that I carried every single day. I felt like I just kept saying, I'm sorry. I wish I did this and I wish I did that. And it was God who reminded me that once was enough. I confessed my sins and he said it's forgiven. When I started Regen, I didn't have a relationship with my oldest daughter or my youngest son. But since Regen, I have a wonderful relationship with my daughter now, my 2 granddaughters, and my step-grandson. I was able to see my youngest son graduate high school, the Air Force Academy, and now he's in the UK. My oldest son lives in Alabama. We talk all the time. And my youngest daughter just moved to North Carolina with my 8-month-old grandson, but we FaceTime all the time. My relationship with my mom and my dad and my brother have been restored, and their faith in me has meant the world to me because I know I couldn't have done it without any of them. Earlier I had mentioned that I had 3 felony charges, but I wanted to share that one has already been removed from my record, the second comes off in January, and the third in the spring of 27. Thank you. I have been clean for 2 years, 8 months, and a day. Thank you. Thank you. With God's never-ending love, my family, friends, and a lot of hard work, I'm standing here today to say that recovery is possible no matter how far you fall down the rabbit hole. I'm going to end with my life verse, which is one that my mom and I share. Philippians 4:13, I can do all things in Christ who strengthens me.